So, you're investing into Pokemon. At one point or another, you probably thought to yourself, should I sell this product or should I keep holding on to it? Maybe you had a product that skyrocketed in value in a short period of time, and you were in between either selling it to capture some profits because it shot up in price so quickly, or you're thinking about maybe holding on to it because it skyrocketed in price and you're thinking it was going to keep going up. And at that time, you either made the decision of just holding on to it or selling it. And after the fact, you were either happy or sad that you did it. So today I want to answer the question of when is the best time to sell your Pokemon investments? And after answering that question, I just generally want to talk about selling Pokemon product and behaviors I've noticed with investors selling their products. There's a pattern to some of the stuff, so I think that's pretty interesting to talk about. But first here, I want to answer the main point of this video. When is the best time to sell your Pokemon investments? So there really is no best time to sell your Pokemon investments because everyone's strategy is different and you cannot predict the future. It's as simple as that. There's no best time to sell your investments. So if someone tells you the best time to sell your investments is when it doubles in price, triples in price, when it goes up to this point, I really, wouldn't listen to them because you cannot predict the future. You cannot tell somebody that, this product, since it's hit this price, that it's the best time to sell because of XYZ. The future is unpredictable. It's been times where some of these products have done absolutely nothing for like a year. And then all of a sudden, after that, it just, shoots up in price. I mean, look at, Chilling Rain Fusion Strike after they went out of stock on the Pokemon Center website. They went up very quickly, and I don't think anyone could have predicted that. So there really is no best time to sell your Pokemon investments. But here's one thing I'll say. You got to answer the question of why you want to sell it. So if you're following a strategy, maybe you're like, okay, it's doubled in price, I want to maybe sell half or whatever, that's perfectly fine. But you got to answer and think about why you are selling. Are you selling it because you need the money? Are you selling it because you want to have, you don't want to have maybe liquidity problems in the future? Like, you got to answer the why, because if you don't know why you want to sell it and you're just selling it, I would say that, for the most part, selling, you have to have a reason. And I feel like some people don't understand that. Like, maybe you just want to make quick money or whatever, but if you don't really need the money and the product is good and there's still like potential, like, I don't see why you would just sell it. So just know and answer the question of why you want to sell it before you actually do. Because if you're just looking at the price and you see maybe you double your money or whatever, and that's all you're looking at, and you don't really need the money, but you decide to sell it anyways, it's possible that that product could keep going up in value. So just answer the why. If you need the money, whatever the case may be, then sure, you can sell it. But if you don't really have a reason of, why you want to sell it, in my opinion, I feel like you should just keep holding on to it. So there's really no best time to sell, but I would first of all just know why you're selling before you make the decision to sell. And once you answer the question, maybe then you would know for yourself when is the best time to sell. Maybe liquidity is one of your reasonings, and maybe when it hits $200, $250, maybe that is the best time to sell for you. But just generally, there really is no best time to sell. But other than that, today I want to also just talk about behaviors I've noticed with this investing community and just selling product in general. So the first thing I want to talk about is people overreacting to news and selling their product. And I can show you that here with Paldea Evolved. So everyone knows that Paldea Evolved, right, had that announcement of a reprint or whatever, ended up being really nothing. And look at this price. Obviously it didn't dip too much, but I've shown you guys this before. It dipped like $10. Obviously that's not a huge amount, but it dipped pretty quickly, but it quickly shot back up. And this is a perfect, I guess, showing that investor people, when they say they're going to hold on for like 5 to 10 years, they don't really, because a lot of investors, they will overreact to news. And this is exactly what happened. I mean, a lot of people decided to just sell and make maybe $10, $15 per box, and they sold. And maybe they sold everything because they thought a huge reprint was going to come. And now they don't have any more. And let's say they bought at release at $100, they made $10, but now, it went back up to 140. So at the end of the day, if they're going to buy back into Paldea Evolved booster box, they actually lost money because they barely made any, and now it's higher, it's at the same price as it was. So this is just a perfect example of investor people just overreacting to news and just selling because they hear something. This is like a perfect example of paper hands just seeing something and just selling and making a quick decision. Yeah, just a lot of investor people that have this long-term mindset. It just shows with these sort of things with reprints. It's going to happen in the future. I guarantee you. Again, when a reprint announcement comes, people are going to sell. It happens all the time. So this is a perfect example of behavior of investors, of long-term investors, just overreacting. So yeah, this is just perfectly shows that here. And also, I guess I just want to show you guys this too, that I noticed with Paldea Vault booster boxes, there's this seller that actually has 148 booster boxes available at the time of recording this video. They probably got their, restock, reprint, whatever you want to call it, allocation to them or whatever. So that's pretty, crazy to see here. But yeah, just the first thing I want to talk about is just people overreacting to news and just selling. And then next, I want to talk about, selling products when they skyrocket in value. So this is an example I want to give here with a product that has really shot up in value within the last, just really past 6 months, really. But just in general, this product has been just consistently just going up in value, is the 151 Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. So these MSRP, I believe, was $60, and right now it is at around 200, a little bit above that actually. You can see here with the market price on TCG Player. I have some of these, and I showed you guys that I have some of these, and this is just like over a year old. It's not that old, and it has gone up. As you can see here, if you just perfectly pinpoint it to a year back, it has gone up almost 100%. But if you got it at release, or on the Pokemon Center website, you got it for like $60. So you're up more than 100%. You're up closer to like 200, a little bit above that. So you're doing very well in just a year. So if you have some of these, you might be tempted to sell this product because it just has gone up so much in value that you might just want to capture profits at this point. So for me, I've told you guys this, I'm not selling because I just don't have enough of this product where I really care to make a lot of money. And plus, I still think this can keep going up in value. And that's something that I think people don't understand or don't really think about, is when they see, a product skyrocket in value, all they think about is the short term. I want to, capture my profits because maybe it's doubled in value already. Maybe I've only had it for 6 months. And if I sell now, that's a great gain in a short period of time. But you got to think about this other factor. Don't, be blinded by just the percentages and how much has gone up in value. Think about, does it have a higher ceiling to go? And for me, with this 151 Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box, I believe it does. Because if you just look at the performance of the normal Elite Trainer Box in 151, it is at $90 to $100 right now. And just with 151 in general, just that, it's so popular, I think this can easily go above $200, even though this is a pretty crazy price since it's only a little bit over a year old. I think this can easily go much higher. So there's just really no point of selling. So, this kind of goes back to the question I told you guys that you should answer is, why should you sell? Is it because of, money? Do you need the money? Because if you don't, think about the other thing. It's like it doesn't have a higher ceiling. And I see that this, even though it's gone up so much in value, it has a higher ceiling than $200. I believe this can keep going up, and I feel like even when it goes up in price, even more than 200, I feel like liquidity won't even really be that much of a problem because this is just such a popular product. So when you see products skyrocket in value, just know and think about there could be a higher ceiling than this. So just don't be blinded by the short-term numbers and just making a small profit here, because if you keep holding for a little bit longer, it can keep going up. Obviously, there's the opposite is also true, where maybe this is the ceiling and it just stays here for a while. But just think about that other thing, that it could keep going up in value. So even if it's skyrocketed a lot, it could keep going up. So next year, I want to talk about something that I've noticed with the market, especially with booster boxes. There's a very, I think, specific pattern I've noticed with people selling, is that I think a lot of people's mindsets or strategy is to sell when booster boxes get around $200. This is when I've noticed a lot of supply goes onto the market, and I can show you some perfect examples of booster boxes where I've noticed when they hit around 200, maybe a little bit above, a lot of people decide to sell. Because I've noticed, with Chilling Reign and Fusion Strike, like specifically, these two booster boxes I've really noticed, especially because Sword and Shield boxes, we all know, for the past 6 months really haven't done that much. But around this price point, a lot of people start to capture profits, and that's why I feel like the growth for some of these boxes kind of stays like kind of flat for a little bit, because there's just so much supply in the market, because a lot of these people, if they bought a release, they probably doubled their money already and they want to sell. And you can see that with Chilling Reign and Fusion Strike. I've seen, just recently, these boxes are starting to dry up a little bit for like around the $200 range. But I remember a few months ago, there was so much supply of these on the market. You could get them for like $200, and the market price was around $215, $220. But now it's starting to dry up a little bit. But just a lot of people, they lock in profits at around $200. So this is when you got to really hold on. Even Lost Origin, recently, these, you could get them for around $200, $210. But now go on eBay, it's pretty hard to find them for anything under 220. They're closer to 230, like a lot of them are. And yeah, just this is the time period where you really got to just hold, because a lot of people sell at this point, and you're gonna sell into a market where there's a lot of supply on the market, and you probably won't be able to get what you want in terms of like market price, because a lot of people are going to be selling under market. I've noticed it a lot. I'm telling you, with Fusion Strike and Chilling Reign. I mean, you could, if you wanted to sell this price point, obviously you could just sit on it. It doesn't really matter. But in my opinion, if you can wait out this period of just $200, because this is when a lot of people are selling, I feel like there's like, for the most part with good sets, there's going to be exponential gains after this period, in the next few years after this stuff happens. Yeah, this is definitely a point where I would say you got to be strong and just not sell because you've doubled your money, because a lot of people have that mindset. But just don't think about that, because yeah, this is definitely the point where a lot of people sell and miss out on the bigger gains. So lastly, I just want to talk about expensive booster boxes. And a lot of people, when booster boxes get this expensive, a lot of people don't have them anymore, because a perfect example is like Evolving Skies. When this booster box was $200, $300, $400, $500, everyone thought it was too expensive and that it was just not going to do anything, because this box is $400 or $500. Who's going to buy it? But we see with Evolving Skies booster boxes, they're at $700+ right now, and it keeps going up in value. And this kind of whole idea that people give that booster boxes, when they get this expensive, are hard to sell, I don't really find that to be true, because when you go on eBay and you see the sold listings, there's so many that sell every single day that I don't understand where the idea comes from people with selling product that it gets illiquid at this point. It really depends, because Evolving Skies, for example, I really think this box within the next couple years here is gonna be around $1,500 to $2,000. I really don't see how it doesn't do that unless Pokemon just crashes or something. But yeah, just there's a high ceiling for some of these boxes that I think people don't realize, because a lot of people at this point probably have sold their Evolving Skies booster boxes, especially if you got it at release. If you've held all the way to this point, you probably already sold. Let's be honest here. And when I look back when I had these, even if I kept them from when I sold them at like when they were at $200 something, I might have already sold, to be honest. And I think that's what a lot of people do. And that's why, I just showed you guys, a lot of people sell $200 around that range. But when you hold it past that point, it is possible that you will see some gains like Evolving Skies has, obviously not to this extreme point, but this is, kind of where a lot of the big gains can happen, because the supply of, product at $200 when a lot of people are selling dries up, and you can see exponential gains even when a box is $300-$400. This stuff can happen. So Evolving Skies, even at its price point, I mean, I made a whole video about Evolving Skies. Yes, when it gets to $2,000, yes, it gets more liquid. But even at $700, like, I feel like that's still not super like out of people's price range. Like I said, just go on eBay, you can see the sold listings. And also another example I like to give of like an expensive booster box where liquidity isn't that much of an issue is these, go on eBay, same thing, go on sold listings. These sell like very often for being this expensive. Like they sell, I think, almost every single day, like maybe every couple days. It's pretty surprising. So just don't be scared about like liquidity in terms of like if a booster box goes up to this price point, because if you have a good box, a good set, I really wouldn't be worried about liquidity. For the most part, a lot of people, like I've said this before, with these expensive boxes, people just kind of overprice their boxes, like over market. And that's why I feel like some people say that, oh, it's not liquid. But if you sell these more expensive boxes at somewhat of a discount, people will buy them. Like I think people think that no one really buys these, but yeah, just I feel like people worry too much about liquidity and they want to sell at $200. But there's a way higher ceiling, and people still buy boxes that are $1,000. Like it's not, people think that people just stop buying them. Like no, like a lot of people buy these. So that's all I wanted to say today. Kind of a longer video, and I kind of went on a ramble at the end there. But yeah, that's all I had to say today. I just want to talk about selling products and just things I've noticed with the market with selling Pokemon product. But that's all I have for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.